I never intended to become the center of the biggest intellectual property scandal in aerospace history. For 3 years, I worked quietly in my corner of Horizon Aerospace's software division, writing code that would revolutionize satellite communication, if anyone had bothered to actually understand what I was building. My name is Dr. Maya Patel, though at Horizon I was just the algorithm girl in Lab 6, the one who kept to herself and worked odd hours. Nobody questioned my schedule, assuming I was just another socially awkward programmer. They didn't know I was coordinating with NASA's Deep Space Network, testing my communications protocol on their most distant satellites. It all started when I discovered a fundamental flaw in how we communicate with deep space probes. Traditional methods lose up to 60% of data during transmission, requiring multiple attempts to send the same information. But I had an idea, a quantum-based protocol that could achieve near-perfect transmission rates. "This is impossible," my immediate supervisor, Chen, said when I first proposed it. "The physics doesn't work that way." But I knew better. Before joining Horizon, I'd spent 5 years at MIT's quantum computing lab, developing theories that most people dismissed as science fiction. I took the job at Horizon because they had the resources and satellite access to test my ideas, even if they didn't know that's what I was doing. The company's VP of Innovation, Richard Maxwell, was notorious for stealing credit from junior employees. He'd built his career by identifying promising projects, taking control of them, and discarding the original inventors. But he had one weakness: he didn't understand quantum computing. To him, my daily work looked like basic optimization algorithms. "How's the compression module coming along?" he'd ask during his rare visits to my lab, barely glancing at my screens. "On schedule," I'd reply quietly, letting him see exactly what he expected: simple code that matched my official project description. The real work happened during night shifts, when I had exclusive access to Horizon's satellite testing facilities. Tom had approved my after-hours schedule, thinking I was just running standard optimization tests. He didn't know I was using a hidden partition on the quantum research server, developing something that would change everything. NASA's Dr. Sarah Martinez was my only ally. We'd met at a conference years ago, and she immediately grasped the potential of my theory. "The Deep Space Network could use your protocol for testing," she suggested during one of our encrypted video calls. "Officially, it would be routine maintenance. Unofficially, we could prove it works," I finished. For 18 months, we ran secret tests using NASA's most distant probes. The results were staggering: 99.97% data transmission efficiency, even from the edge of the solar system. But we had to move carefully. If Maxwell discovered what I'd really developed, he'd steal it in a heartbeat. Then Jessica Wong joined the team. Jessica was brilliant, fresh from Stanford's quantum computing program. Unlike others at Horizon, she actually understood what my code could do. I caught her studying my test logs one evening, her eyes wide with realization. "This isn't just compression," she whispered. "This is quantum entanglement-based transmission." "But that's theoretical." "Not anymore," I replied, watching her carefully. Instead of reporting me, Jessica became my secret collaborator. She helped refine the protocol, adding layers of innovation I hadn't considered. We worked nights and weekends, documenting everything meticulously, but not on Horizon's servers. "Maxwell's going to notice eventually," she warned one night. "The test data is too good to ignore." She was right. 2 weeks later, Maxwell appeared in my lab with his typical arrogant smile. "Maya, I need everything you've done on the compression project. The board wants a tech showcase next week." I handed over a drive containing the basic algorithms, the surface-level work he expected. The real project was safely encrypted and stored off-site, with key components already integrated into NASA's Deep Space Network. The tech showcase was Horizon's annual event where projects were evaluated for further funding. Maxwell had scheduled my presentation last, probably assuming my simple compression algorithm would be a forgettable end to the day. The auditorium was packed with executives, engineers, and even some NASA representatives, including Dr. Martinez, though Maxwell didn't know our connection. Jessica sat in the back, trying to hide her nervous excitement. I walked onto the stage with my laptop, connected it to the presentation system, and pulled up my decoy project files. As you can see, I begin quietly. The compression algorithm shows a 15% improvement in data transmission efficiency. Maxwell interrupted from the front row. Boring. Where are the test results I saw? The ones showing 99% efficiency? I blinked innocently. I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Those results aren't possible with standard compression. His face reddened. Don't play games. I saw the logs. Show them. Those logs must be incorrect, I said. The physics doesn't work that way, remember? Maxwell stormed onto the stage, shouldering me aside to access my laptop. I'll show them myself. He pulled up file after file, growing increasingly angry as he found only basic algorithms. Where is it? Where's the real project? That is my project, I said calmly. Just simple compression, like you always assumed. Liar, he turned to the audience. She's hiding something. She's developed some kind of quantum protocol. I saw it. The room stirred. Quantum communication wasn't supposed to be part of my project. I wasn't even supposed to have the expertise for it. Sir, I said, still maintaining my quiet demeanor, I think you're confused. I'm just an algorithm developer, remember? Just the quiet girl from Lab 6 who works on basic compression. The board called an emergency meeting for 1 p.m. Maxwell's trying to claim you stole corporate resources for personal research. I checked my watch. Perfect timing. Make sure you're in the main conference room at 2 p.m. Trust me, you'll want to see this. At exactly 1:55 p.m., I walked into Horizon's headquarters. Security tried to stop me. Apparently, Maxwell had put me on a banned list, but I had already texted Dr. Martinez. Right on cue, the CEO's office called down, ordering them to let me through. The main conference room was packed. The entire board was there, along with senior engineers, legal counsel, and of course, Maxwell. He jumped up when I entered. How dare you show your face here, he snarled. After stealing company resources. Actually, I interrupted calmly, I think you'll want to see this. I gestured to the large screen on the wall, which was showing NASA's live feed. At exactly 2 p.m., the transmission began. Maxwell's face contorted with rage. He turned back to my laptop, started deleting files. If you won't show them, then you won't have anything to show at all. The audience watched in shocked silence as he systematically erased my work. Jessica half rose from her seat, but I gave her a subtle shake of my head. There, Maxwell snarled, stepping back from the now empty laptop. Maybe next time you'll learn to follow orders. I picked up my laptop, cradling it carefully despite its empty hard drive. You're right, sir. I should have been more clear about my work. I turned to the audience. For anyone interested in real quantum communication breakthroughs, I suggest monitoring NASA's Deep Space Network tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The Voyager probe will be transmitting some interesting data. Maxwell froze. What are you talking about? Just a routine data transmission, I said innocently. Nothing a VP of Innovation needs to worry about. After all, it's not like someone could develop revolutionary quantum communication protocols right under your nose. That would be impossible, right? I walked off the stage, leaving Maxwell sputtering. As I passed Dr. Martinez, she gave me an almost imperceptible nod. Everything was ready. Tomorrow, Horizon Aerospace would learn exactly what they had and lost in their quiet algorithm girl from Lab 6. But for now, I had a satellite transmission to prepare. The morning after the tech showcase, Horizon's legal team was in full panic mode. I watched from my tiny apartment as the company's stock dropped 3% in pre-market trading, just on rumors that their VP of Innovation had publicly melted down and destroyed an employee's work. But that was nothing compared to what was coming at 2 p.m. Dr. Martinez called at 9 a.m. NASA's Deep Space Network is ready, she said. All 3 stations, Madrid, Canberra, and Goldstone, are aligned for the Voyager transmission. The quantum receivers are in place. Any movie from Horizon, I asked. Their legal team has been calling NASA on the line, trying to block the transmission, but they have no guns. Everything they're doing is part of a approved testing protocol. I smiled, remembering Maxwell's face when I mentioned NASA. Is the press ready? Every major tech publication will be monitoring. Plus, we have observers from 3 quantum research labs standing by to verify the results. At 10 a.m., my phone rang again. Jessica Wong. Maxwell's going insane, she reported. He's had it searching every server, trying to find your real work. They even called in forensic data recovery specialists for your laptop. Let them search, I said. They won't find anything. The screen split into 4 sections, 3 showing data streams from NASA's global receiving stations and 1 showing the original transmission from Voyager 1, currently over 14 billion miles from Earth. Impossible, one of the engineers whispered as the data began flowing. These transmission rates, the clarity. Maxwell's face went from red to white as he realized what he was seeing. Stop this immediately. This is corporate espionage. Is it? I pulled out a folder and handed it to Chen, Horizon's head of legal affairs. These are my personal research patents, filed 3 years before I joined Horizon. And this, I handed her another document, is my approved NASA research proposal from 5 years ago. The room fell silent as Janet reviewed the documents. The quantum communication protocol being demonstrated right now, I continued, was developed independently, using NASA resources during approved testing windows. No corporate espionage required. She's lying, Maxwell shouted. She used our facilities. Did I? I turned to the board. Check your own records. Every after-hours test I ran was documented as basic compression algorithm work. Exactly what I was hired to do. I never used Horizon's quantum computing resources because, according to my official role, I wasn't qualified for that access. One of the board members, Dr. Samantha Rivera, leaned forward. But the results we're seeing, this is revolutionary technology. Why hide it? I looked directly at Maxwell, because some people have a habit of stealing others' innovations. I learned that lesson before coming to Horizon. Understanding dawned on Dr. Rivera's face. The Stanford Quantum Project. 3 years ago. I nodded. Maxwell had tried to steal that too, but failed when he couldn't understand the underlying physics. So I gave him exactly what he expected to see. I explained. Basic algorithms, simple compression work. Nothing that would interest a VP of innovation who doesn't understand quantum mechanics. The NASA feed was showing something new now, comparison data between traditional communication methods and my quantum protocol. The difference was staggering. 99.97% transmission efficiency, Dr. Rivera breathed. Over 14 billion miles. Do you understand what this means? It means, as a new voice from the doorway, that Dr. Patel has just revolutionized deep space communication. Dr. Sarah Martinez walked in, followed by representatives from 3 quantum research laboratories. NASA has been testing Dr. Patel's protocol for 18 months, she announced. The results have been independently verified. This technology will change everything: space exploration, satellite communication, quantum computing. Maxwell lunged for the documents in Janet's hands, but security was faster. As they restrained him, his career literally crumbling before his eyes, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. You'll never get away with this, he spat. The company will sue. Actually, Janet interrupted, we won't. She looked up from the documents. Dr. Patel's patents are ironclad. Her NASA research proposal predates any work at Horizon. And she smiled slightly. There's the matter of your recorded threats and destruction of her work at yesterday's showcase. Which brings us to why I'm here, Dr. Martinez said. NASA would like to offer Horizon Aerospace a licensing agreement for Dr. Patel's technology. Assuming she agrees, of course. I pretended to consider it, watching Maxwell's face contort. I'm open to discussion, though I'll want some changes in senior management first. The next few hours were a blur of meetings, lawyers, and negotiations. Maxwell was escorted out, his corporate credentials already deactivated. By evening, the story had hit every major tech publication. Revolutionary quantum communication protocol demonstrated on NASA's Deep Space Network. Horizon's stock soared as details emerged. The licensing agreement would make the company billions, but only after a complete restructuring of the innovation division. Maxwell's other victims came forward, revealing a pattern of intellectual theft that had gone on for years. 1 week later, I sat in my new office, the same one Maxwell had once occupied. Jessica Wong was now head of our quantum research division, her brilliant insights finally being recognized. The team we were building would push the boundaries of what was possible in quantum communication. Dr. Martinez called with an update from NASA. The European Space Agency wants to license the protocol. So does SpaceX, and the quantum research community is still trying to understand how you made it work. I looked out my window at the satellite dishes behind Horizon's campus, the same ones I'd used for testing during those late nights, hidden in plain sight. Sometimes, I told her, the best place to hide revolutionary technology is right where everyone can see it. They just have to know what they're looking at. My phone buzzed with another message. Maxwell had taken a job with a small tech startup, probably hoping to rebuild his career. Good luck with that. His reputation in the quantum computing world was permanently destroyed. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. Jessica entered, carrying a familiar leather-bound notebook. "Found this in the old lab," she said with a grin. "Your original quantum calculations, the ones you let me discover." I took the notebook, remembering the night she first understood what I was really building. "You know why I let you find them?" "Because you recognized another quiet one," she replied, "someone who could see what others missed." Exactly. I handed her a new notebook, empty except for a single equation on the first page. Ready to revolutionize quantum computing again. Her eyes lit up as she studied the equation. "This is the next step," I finished. "Something even bigger than deep space communication. But this time, we do it in plain sight. Because sometimes the greatest power isn't in hiding your brilliance, but in letting others underestimate it until the perfect moment." Maxwell never understood that. He thought power came from stealing others' innovations, never realizing that true brilliance can't be stolen. It can only be earned through patient, careful work. As Jessica and I began planning our next project, I could see Voyager 1's latest transmission data scrolling across my screen. Crystal clear, perfectly received. A testament to what's possible when you refuse to let others define your limits. Somewhere in deep space, quantum entangled particles were dancing to the protocol I'd written, carrying messages across billions of miles. And here on Earth, in my new office, I was already writing the next chapter in quantum innovation. Not bad for the algorithm girl from Lab 6.